You know that quote by Viktor Frankl?
I do.
Between stimulus and response, right?
have
There's
it.
this. Do you?
Do you know it?
Well, I don't not exact. Well, I'll try. Between stimulus and response, there's a place.
And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom.
Wow.
I I pulled it out because I thought that would come in handy. And
Wow.
that's really what we're talking about is being able to self-regulate, give ourselves some space, get a larger perspective, not just the reactionary, and be able to choose how we're going to respond. And that can happen fast. It's not, we don't, this is the other thing I want to say about meditation, particularly. People think meditation is closing your eyes, going to just a quiet corner where nothing can get at you,
Okay.
going inward. But that's only part of mindfulness meditation. The other part of mindfulness, sometimes in the more traditional, the wisdom tradition, we refer to it as mindfulness awareness practice.
Okay.
So we want to also develop a sense of open awareness or an open presence practice.
Okay.
So closing your eyes doesn't make it meditation.
Okay.
Sitting down in some funny position does not make it meditation.
Okay.
That's not what it, that's not, I mean, those things are nice. A fancy like meditation cushion is nice, but that's not what makes it meditation. What makes it
Okay.
meditation is that you're working with your mind. Is
Okay.
that you're noticing how your mind is working. I'm racing, I'm freaked out, I'm worried, I'm overwhelmed. You're noticing those things and you're choosing how you want to respond to that. Or I'm distracted and I can't focus. We're noticing and we're training the mind to really notice how it is
Okay.
and to choose our response to that. Right.
Liz, do you think, there's an activity in the book called Ebb Tide, and I don't know if you're familiar with it. You were probably part of helping develop it because it is, do you remember it? So we go
Yes, I know it.
similar. Okay.
Yeah.
And one of us stops. And there's this moment of noticing. And when it's a group, you can see it's like a little wave of awareness. So I'm introducing it as an improv activity. Would you say that it could also be considered a mindfulness practice to do
It's
something like that?
absolutely a mindfulness practice.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. In fact, the way that I learned a version of that was this walking meditation practice where you walk in a circle and as a group you decide when to stop.
Okay.
I learned that as a meditation practice because if you think of it, or if you do it, actually, if you think of it, when you're in it, you start to notice what kind of attention does it take to pay attention to the whole group and the whole situation. And that is what open awareness practice is. What it is that it shifts our attention
Okay.
to something other than the chatter in our mind.
Okay.
Right? So it's actually using our senses, like we're listening, we're watching in the ebb tide exercise,
Yeah.
for that moment where people stop. And you have to be quiet enough in your own mind to be present for it.
Right.
Right?
And when you're with a group of people, you're present together. You become, it's like an attunement, you become present together. Sorry, I interrupted
Yeah,
you.
no. Well, I was going to think, I imagine in a busy ER room, you can either be stuck in your head worrying,
Mm.
or you can have a sense of presence to be able to take in everything that's going on and respond skillfully.
Do you think it helps you to sort of filter what might be important to keep on your radar?
Yeah.
Um, the somebody telling a joke might not really be that relevant. It might be. Maybe you need to laugh, and that's
Yeah,
helpful.
you
I'm
might.
trying to think if there might be something that might not be relevant because there's so many like interruptions and phones ringing and alarms going off. That
Someone's
or
lunch arriving, right? And I'm like, you
yeah,
don't need to pay attention to that, but you do
yeah,
need to hear this code,
right.
alarm. Right. But being at there, but I always think of it, it feels to me like when I do that kind of practice, it feels like stepping back a little bit and
Okay,
getting the bigger perspective.
yeah,
Because, even if you think about that ebb tide exercise, you know, especially if you're in a group, you you can't really be paying attention to yourself as much as you're.
bingo. I think that's what it is. It's stepping back. There's a lot of room in our heads for sort of filtering, triaging, maybe even what's important and what's not.
Mhm.
But we're able to attend to that more effectively
Yeah.
with with the awareness that you're talking about.
Yeah, the awareness. So, traditionally, the way that it's explained is mindfulness is the ability to place our attention on our breath.
Okay.
Awareness is the ability to notice that we've gotten distracted. Our mind is not on the breath.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's like we get a bigger picture is the best way I can say it. I would say a meta picture, but that doesn't really
Well,
say it.
I can feel it. I can feel it when we're talking about it and doing it, and I think part of it is being connected with you. It brings me into the present moment with you, um, which takes me out of some of the anticipatory thinking or whatever stuff is going on in my head. And some of that I may need to have going on in my head because of what I'm doing. Yet there's also probably cranking out thoughts that I don't need.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's a much more spacious way that we talk about it in a more traditional way. It's spacious awareness. Like there's just more space, and who doesn't need more space, right?
Right,
In our
right.
mind, but also in our awareness.
Yeah, yeah. I love the phrase. I got this from Meg Wheatley that there is no fear in the present moment.
So there's not.
So even with a lot going on, if we're really present with that, which is going on,
Yep. Yeah.
somehow we're safer. It's fascinating, Liz.
There's
Um,
something about the kind of a level of acceptance of things the way they are. And
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so interesting because a lot of people come to meditation and they want to relax, which, there's meditations that do relax. And, deep breath in, long breath out activates parasympathetic nervous system, feels
There
better.
we go. Okay.
But sometimes in practice, in formal practice, particularly, like if you're going to sit down and do a 3 minute, 5 minute, 10-minute practice, and you're kind of wild up, it's not necessarily going to feel peaceful. And I always try to tell
Okay.
people that doesn't mean that you're not doing it right. It means that
Okay.
you're aware of how riled up you are. You're aware of how stressed you are. But there's something about over time, this has been my experience and I've heard from other people, there's something about being able to just be with things the way they are, the things that are pleasant and the things that are unpleasant,
Hmm.
without fear,
Hmm.
that is really relaxing, that gives you that there's a kind of feeling of calm in the eye of the storm.
Mhm.
And that comes from being with things, sitting, doing meditation practice, being with the days that are crappy and being with the days that are great, wanting those great days again, and then getting the crappy day and being okay with that.
Yeah, accepting.